To add the specific applications that we want to allow into a policy, we can view the complete list of applications supported by the firewall in the database. To access this information, we will go to Objects, then to Applications. This will show and categorize all supported applications by name that we can include in a security policy. Let's navigate to one of the most popular applications that you will likely use called web browsing. And that's located by first going to General Internet under Category right here. Let's go to the last page, page 9, and then let's back up to page 8. And let's locate web browsing. Here it is. So this is one application among many that we can use in a policy. Here we can view the details of this application, which will show information with the protocol port details, including what other applications must be added into a policy to be included for inspection. We can see the application timeout values, the characteristics to traffic classification, including the risk level of the application. What we would do now is add a new policy that will allow the applications of web browsing, which involves basic internet web surfing. We will also allow SSL, DNS, and ping applications, all from our user network out to the internet. Therefore, let's go ahead and close up this window. Let's go back to policies now and make sure that security is selected for security policies. And the first thing we're going to do is remove this particular rule that we did in a previous video. This is focused on the protocol and the port details. Let's go ahead and remove this. And let's add a new policy. Starting with the name under General, we'll call this Users Outbound Internet 2. Okay, our source will be our user network, and they exist in the LAN zone. And we will specify the source address of the user network, which is this object here. Now let's go to destination, and that will be anything on the internet. So that will be our WAN zone. And of course, that will be any destination address. Now, we're going to go to the application tab, and we're going to list all the applications we want to allow our user network to access on the internet. To do that, we'll go to Add, and we'll first type in web browsing for generic internet web surfing. There it is. Let's select that. The second application we will add is SSL. So we'll type in SSL. There it is. Our third application will be DNS. And our last will be ping. And there it is. That can allow us to do connectivity tests. So we can add more applications, but these are what we want to allow right now. Next, let's go to the service URL category, and we're going to select application default, which is the first option here. That basically means all the default ports used with that particular application will be included in this policy for what to allow or not allow, depending on what action that we actually specify. And under action, we will set it to allow. And that's it. Let's go ahead and click on OK to add this new policy rule. So now you will see under application, you will see all the listed applications that we want to allow for the action. Let's go ahead and commit these changes. And we're done. Now let's go ahead and test this out. Let's bring up our user computer, and let's open up a web browser to confirm if we can access the internet, and we can. So this is part of the web browsing application that we have allowed. Try another website just to make sure, and it's also reachable. So this involves web browsing, but also DNS. We also enable ping for connectivity. We can confirm that by going to a DOS prompt and pinging some IP address on the internet. We will ping the address of 4.2.2.2, and it's reachable because of that policy. Let's move this aside, and we can monitor that activity by going to Monitor, and here looking at the traffic logs. This information here is likely from our other policy that we configured to focus on the protocol and the port details. Very quickly, let's go ahead and turn on Resolve Hostname to resolve all addresses here. Let's move this to the right, and we do confirm that this is for the other policy. To get the new information, we need to refresh this data, and we do that by clicking here. Okay, so now we have new information, and we do see here that it is from our outbound internet 2 rule that we have just added. And we can see what is being allowed, and we see DNS, web browsing, SSL, everything that we have allowed in our particular policy. And we are finished. As you can tell, it's not that much different from the other policy that we configured earlier, but this is focused more on selecting the applications to allow our firewall to do deep packet inspection, and that's important when we talk about doing other configuration with file blocking to even URL filtering.